The auction house on Station Gamma 7 reeked of desperation and disinfectant. Marcus Chen stood among the crowd of traders, smugglers, and worse, trying not to think too hard about what he was doing here. The pay from his last freight run had been pathetic, barely enough to cover docking fees, and he needed crew. Someone, anyone, to help manage the cargo holds on his aging vessel. Lot 47, the auctioneer droned, his translator implant rendering his Vraxian clicks into flat, emotionless standard. Zanari female, approximately 8 solar cycles, mute, defective. Starting bid, 50 credits. Marcus felt his stomach turn. The child, because that's what she was, a child, stood on the platform with her head down. Her skin shimmered with the characteristic opalescence of the Zanari people, but she was painfully thin. Heavy collar around her neck, chains on her wrists, the crowd barely stirred. A mute Zanari was worthless. Their entire culture revolved around their telepathic song, the harmonic frequencies that could manipulate matter at the molecular level. Without that gift, she was just another mouth to feed. 50 credits, Marcus heard himself say. The auctioneer's eyes narrowed. Sold. 20 minutes later, Marcus led her through the station's grimy corridors toward his ship. She hadn't looked at him once, hadn't made a sound. Her bare feet made no noise on the metal grating. He felt like a monster. Listen, he said quietly, stopping outside the airlock to the wandering star. I didn't buy you to hurt you. I need help on my ship, and you need to get off this station. Once we're clear of Vraxian space, I'll drop you somewhere safe. Somewhere you can... He reached out, intending to remove the collar. Run. The word exploded from her throat. Not in standard, not in any language his translator could process. It was pure sound, a frequency that made his bones vibrate and his vision blur. The station lights flickered. The metal beneath his feet hummed. Marcus stumbled backward as 3 figures emerged from the shadows behind them. Vraxian enforcers, their exoskeletons gleaming, plasma weapons raised. Illegal purchase, the lead enforcer hissed. That merchandise is property of the Vraxian Commerce Guild. Sentence, immediate termination. The girl's eyes met Marcus's for the first time. They were silver, and they were afraid. But there was something else there too. A desperate, fierce intelligence. She opened her mouth and sang. It wasn't music, not in any conventional sense. It was mathematics made audible, physics given voice. The harmonic wave that emerged from her throat made the air shimmer. The enforcer's weapon melted in his hands, the metal flowing like water. The station's bulkhead groaned, stress fractures spiderwebbing across its surface. Inside. Now. Marcus grabbed her hand and punched the airlock code. They tumbled through as plasma bolts seared the air behind them. The wandering star had never launched so fast. Marcus threw every override he had, ignoring station control's screaming protests. The ship shuddered as docking clamps released and thrusters fired. Behind them, a section of Gamma 7's outer ring collapsed, depressurizing in a cloud of frozen atmosphere. What did you do? Marcus gasped, hands flying over the controls. The girl sat in the co-pilot's chair, trembling. When she spoke, it was in perfect unaccented standard. I destroyed the tracking beacon in the station's central hub. They can't follow us now. You can talk. They said. I know what they said. Her voice was small but steady. The Zanari don't acknowledge children born with defects. I can't sing the traditional songs, can't manipulate matter the way my people do, but I learned something else. I learned human mathematics, human physics. I taught myself to do with sound what humans do with equations. Marcus stared at her. That's impossible. You're 8 years old. 8.3 solar cycles, she corrected. And humans have a saying, don't they? Necessity is the mother of invention. She looked down at her chained wrists. I've had a lot of necessity. He helped her remove the collar and chains, cutting them away with a plasma torch while the ship jumped to FTL. She had scars beneath them, old wounds that made his jaw clench. What's your name? He asked. I don't have one. The Zanari never named me. Then pick one. She was quiet for a long moment, watching the stars streak past the viewport. Harmony, she finally said. I'd like to be called Harmony. Over the following weeks, Marcus learned what she could do. She could calculate jump coordinates in her head faster than the ship's computer. She could hear structural weaknesses in the hull and fix them with focused sonic pulses. She could identify other ships by the frequency of their engines from 1,000 kilometers away. Your people are idiots, Marcus told her one evening as she helped him repair a coolant leak using nothing but her voice and a understanding of thermodynamics that would make a human physicist. Harmony smiled, her first real smile. Maybe, but they taught me an important lesson. What's that? That being different doesn't mean being broken. It just means finding a different way to be whole. She paused. Humans understand that, don't they? You're not telepathic, not particularly strong, not long-lived. But you survive anyway. You adapt. We're stubborn, Marcus agreed. No. Harmony's silver eyes were bright. You're creative. And now so am I. The wandering star jumped again, carrying them toward the outer colonies where the Vraxian commerce guild's reach didn't extend, where a human and a defective Zenari child could disappear into the vast frontier of space, where 50 credits had bought more than a slave. It had bought a future,